I think that all of us like to interact with our audience in creative ways. And one of those creative ways is to bring in video or small clips. And with YouTube or other video venues, it's never been easier. You didn't have to get that old VHS videotape that you waited all night just to get that one piece from the news to show in the class or in your speech like I had to back in 1984. So using video in a Zoom presentation provides a few challenges that are not unlike in the classroom or face-to-face environments. There are quite a few different professionals that will offer different ways to help the students become more smooth with their integration of sharing screens. But just a few tips just to keep in mind. First of all, when you're using the video, you do get a chance to step back just a little bit yourself, showing the video and maybe catching your breath. But the video should just be a short clip, and I think you should just share it when you're ready to share it, and then shut it off when you're done. Let me show you a little bit about that. So here's Carly, and she gave permission to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen by hitting the green button. When I hit that, what I need to also do is to click on the share computer sound as well as optimize screen for the clip. Now I can go ahead and share, well, the video of a video in Carly's speech. This was a little bit of trial and error, and I know that there's quite a few different ways that the pros are offering tips that are a bit more smooth than how I did this myself. And even when you hear Carly's speech, you'll hear, okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But I think that just having the students use it and to use it smoothly to the point that it works is great for this beginning course. Those students who are more confident with technology will learn some of the ways that are showing a little bit more smooth integration of video into a Zoom area. But having your clip ready to go, queued up, ready to go, and closing other screens definitely help. I want you to see how Carly uses this and how smooth it is. It allows her to just have a little break in her speech and shares her point about the importance of reading.
We're not only ready to do great things in school and life, but communities also win, with lower crime rates, a stronger economy, and healthier and happier families. The research is clear, so is the solution.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So that video, you can see in there that you start learning from birth all the way till 5, and that's the most crucial time that you can learn, which I thought was so crazy that that's where we learn our best, was from 0 to 5.
I wanted to illustrate how Carly did that because it allowed her to share creatively some statistics and a bit of a child's view and a parent's view and an expert's view in this cartoon that was created to support reading. Secondly, it allows her to have a little bit of movement. In public speaking in Zoom settings, students tend to be much more rigid, and they're watching how they framed their image. Even myself, creating this video, having just this arm length because I'm using a more close-up view. We ask our students to stand up. We want them to be 4 to 6 feet away if possible, so that we get a chance to see how they would be using their body. Also checking to make sure that they're not using too many notes or reading. We don't want them reading a screen either. But having that video or having a visual aid where you step up just a bit and then you step back, I think that allows us to just breathe a little bit, to have something interesting to integrate into your speech. And when you make sure that all those things go well, there's a sense of accomplishment that that video worked. At the same time, those folks who are new to public speaking, new to technology, sharing a screen and sharing a video can oftentimes go wrong. And what happens oftentimes is that the student doesn't actually check on the areas that needed to be checked. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause and show you what I mean. So in this instance, before I begin the course, and before we go into the speech mode, I try to remind them with this slide what they need to do. That they're going to hit share screen with the green area, and then I actually share the screen of my screen. I tell them that they should have only the boxes open or the windows open that they're going to use. And then they're going to choose their screen. But also these two areas are oftentimes forgotten, that they have to share their sound, and then finally sharing itself. So by just stopping a little bit and having them practice this before the class begins with a bit of a mic check, and this is what I do, I have a bit of a mic check and remind them what's happening, what they're going to do, and we even have a bit of a mic check where we go through and we have an icebreaker. And when it gets to these larger speeches, I also have them do a sharing of the screen or sharing of a video. And we do that right before we start to make sure people are on track and they remember how to do that. But if they don't, I help them through. And that never really feels good that you had to stop and ask for assistance. But I've really trained the students, or at least I try to train them, that it's not what if something goes wrong, it's what will I do when something does go unplanned or wrong. And so this is one tip that I wanted to share with you, is that it's okay to encourage students to bring in video. Short clips are better. Some of the students want to start them in the very beginning of their speech, and it sits there as almost a blank screen until they're ready. And students who are highly anxious, it is more difficult to go into the screen, turn it on, and someone else could do that actually. But I do encourage them to try this in impromptus, and they practice it when we're doing our icebreakers prior to the speech. And I think that overall, at the end of the semester, students are doing really well with integrating creative visual aids, both the video as well as objects or different types of slides into the presentation.